Boop boop be doop. We'll just give people time to get into the room before we start, and we'll cover this. I think this should be fairly quickly. Alright, so we're going to be covering Pact magic. So for those of you who are already pretty familiar with the Warlock, this probably won't be anything new to you. For those of you who are new to playing Dungeons and Dragons, then Pact magic is something you probably want to know a little bit about. The Warlock is pretty simple compared to other classes, and I'm going to be starting round about now actually. Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I'm talking about Dungeons & Dragons 5e. We're actually going through how to play Dungeons & Dragons 5e, or D&D 5e, and we're covering the Warlock. This is video number 2, and we're covering Pact magic. Now, I'm going to be using the Warlock pre-made character sheet on the Dungeons & Dragons official website, so if you want to know anything, if I refer to anything in terms of numbers or spells or anything like that, then you want to be checking out that particular website to find the character sheet. Now the character sheet should be in front of you right now, or it'll be coming up right this very second. It hasn't got a great view on it. I'm going to point out one little error here. Eldritch Blast and Poison Spray, well, Poison Spray and even Prestidigitation are fine, but it's a level 1 Warlock, and it should only have 2 cantrips from its class, but there's 3, and Thaumaturgy has been left off. It's a tiefling, so, or tiefling. Thaumaturgy is not there, so one of those cantrips needs to be removed. I'm going to just take away Poison Spray for this particular video, so that you can see we're only dealing with 2 cantrips plus the cantrip that was given to you via your race, which is the tiefling. Okay, just in case people were confused in any way, that's why I'm doing that. So if you want to look for information and details on Pact magic, you need to be looking at pages 106 and 107 of the Player's Handbook for details on the Pact magic and how it works. There's a little bit of a small entry for how it works, but also there's a very useful chart which breaks down everything, makes it really, really simple to understand. Now, Pact magic is gained by arcane research and magic that's bestowed upon the Warlock by a powerful patron. In this case, it might be like a Balor or a demon or a devil or something like that. It can be anything. You can come up with all sorts of different things. Now, most of the research that a Warlock is doing is usually information that has been passed from their patron to them that they start looking into or delving into. That's not to say they can't find information themselves, but that's often what's happening is they're being given secret information. They will often be seeking secret, hidden, dark magics that they can utilize themselves, any kind of hidden mystery that might utilize and give them more power, because Warlocks are all about more power. Now this particular video is going to focus on the Warlock chart that you can find on page 106 of the Player's Handbook. That is where I need you to turn to right about now, so that you can actually see everything that's laid out on that chart, because it does give you all the information that you need. Your Warlock is only going to start out with 2 cantrips. Now, cantrips can be cast infinitely. You can keep casting that particular type of spell over and over again. Warlock doesn't get that many different cantrips. In fact, very few. But one of those cantrips should be Eldritch Blast. I've already mentioned this in the first video, but if you don't have it, pick that particular cantrip up. Now after that, it's up to you what you decide to grab as your second cantrip. If you're not playing a tiefling, then you won't necessarily get an additional cantrip. You'll only have 2. This particular character sheet that we were looking at before has 3 cantrips, but that is not the norm. Most classes will have a race that only gonna get like 2 cantrips from their class only. So Eldritch Blast and anything else. Things that can be useful are Prestidigitation or Minor Illusion. I think those are pretty good spells. You can grab them and they're usually pretty useful repeatedly in any kind of game. Now when you get to level 3, your Warlock levels up to level 3, you're going to get additional cantrips. You get 1 more cantrip. You now have three cantrips that you can utilize. When you get to level 10 as a Warlock, you're going to get 4 cantrips, and after that no more additional cantrips will be available to you. So you really have to be very, very careful about the cantrips that you select. The other thing is there really isn't that many choices for a Warlock. They've got a very limited spell list for cantrips, level 1 spells, level 2 and upward. Now the Warlock knows a very small number of spells. This is spells they actually know, and this is outside of the cantrips. We're talking about level 1 spells, level 2 spells and upward. Now they only know a few. At level 1 you'll only know 2 different spells. That's only 2 different spells. As you level up, you're going to gain more, and that's pretty quick, the progression. Each level just about gives you another spell that you can know, and then it starts to flatten out. Once you get to about level 10, it's like every 2 levels you start getting another spell that you can add to your list of known spells. These are spells you do not have to prepare. You can always cast them. As long as you have a spell slot available to cast from, you can always use those spells, which is one of the benefits of a Warlock. You only need to have a list of spells you know, and you pump them out. The table on page 6 of the Player's Handbook shows you the spell slots that you gain access to. Now, as I said, Warlocks only get a very short list of spells that they can utilize. Very, very limited. But you can expand the number of spells that you know I'm going to start again. The number of spells that you know is listed on the chart. But at level 1 you get Otherworldly Patron, and depending on the patron that you select, you'll get access to additional spells that you can add to the spells that you can potentially know. And these are spells that aren't normally found on the Warlock list. The Wizard list is a lot bigger, but depending on the patron that you select, you can gain access to additional spells. And something like the Archfey, at level 1 spell to get Fairy Fire and Sleep. And there's a couple of other spells there at different levels that you can access, provided you can cast a spell at that level. So it does open up a few options. Something like the Fiend, at level 1 you get access to Burning Hands and Command, which aren't normally Warlock spells. The Great Old One at level 1 gives you access to Tasha's Hideous Laughter and Dissonant Whispers. And there's a whole lot of other spells, as I said, that you can get and gain depending on the spell level that you can cast at. Now let's go back to spell slots. As you can see on the chart, the number of spells you get at level 1 is it's only 1 spell. You get to cast 1 spell. To get your spell slot back so you can cast another spell from the spells that you know, you need to take a rest. That can be a short rest or a long rest. One of the issues you may strike is having a dungeon master that doesn't like you constantly resting after every combat, and you're probably going to find yourself in a situation where that happens. So my suggestion to you is try to focus your energies into building up and making your cantrip Eldritch Blast more useful to you, so you don't have to worry about taking those short and long rests. Particularly if you're dealing with a running battle, that can be really annoying for not just you, but also the dungeon master if you're constantly having to stop and rest to get your spell slot back that you've spent in the first combat. At level 2 you're going to get 2 spell slots, and then when you get to level 11 you're going to get 3 spell slots. That means that before you can cast 3 spells and then you have to rest to be able to get them back. It's as simple as that. At level 17 you'll get 4 spell slots, and it doesn't increase anymore after that. It's quite a limiting spell selection, and certainly the number of spells that you can use. This is why your cantrips are actually really important for a warlock. You're really going to be relying on the cantrip compared to spell slots and casting spells. Now there's another column that says slot level. Now depending on your warlock level, that particular number in the slot level indicates what level you cast the spell at and what types of spells you can cast. So at level 1 and 2 warlock, you can cast a spell of 1st level. That's it. When you reach 4th level, when you reach 3rd level, you can cast a spell of 2nd level or 1st level. That's the highest level of your spell. Now, no matter how many spell slots you have, the level of your spell is the one indicated on the chart. So if you are level 14 and you have 3 spell slots, the spell slot level for you at level 14 is level 5. All of your spells come out at level 5. So when you're picking spells, I would suggest picking spells that have the option to increase their power or potency based on the casting level, because you won't be casting particularly high level spells even if you reach level 20. Hopefully that makes it completely clear how they work. Now the invocations known, I'm going to leave that column. We're not going to even go near that. We're just going to deal with the Pact magic section for now, and I think that is really pretty much covered all the details in terms of your Pact magic. Now I'm going to hang around and answer questions, but if you found this video helpful or informative, and hopefully it was nice and clear and I spelled it out so you understood it. If you have any questions, you can ask them during the live stream. I will answer those questions at the end of this live stream. I won't go anywhere. And if you're not part of the live stream, then you can just ask your questions in the comments section and I'll do my best to answer those questions. If you found this video really helpful, I honestly, it's great when people share and like the video and subscribe or hit the bell button beside the subscribe button to get occasional notifications. That's really good. But watching more of my videos is also a good way of supporting my channel so that I don't disappear into the ether. I don't do Patreon, but if you want to support my channel, then buying online, I have affiliate links down in the description where you can buy off Amazon, and you pay the same price. I get a small commission for something you might purchase. You don't even have to buy the thing I've linked to. Go through the link and then search for whatever you want, buy that, and I get a small commission. You pay the same price. And that's where we're going to finish up. I'm going to say, look, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Okay, I'm still here. There's a couple of people in the room. I know this was a very short video. I wasn't intending to make this a particularly long video. I didn't want to get overly complicated with the details, but if there are things you want to ask about your Pact magic, I'm hoping that I made it abundantly clear how your Pact magic works. Cantrips, infinite use, and you get a small number of them, and the chart indicates what cantrips you can gain access to. Spells known is literally the number of spells that you actually know. You can equate it to having a spell book, I guess, but warlocks don't necessarily have to have a spell book as such. Certainly they will probably have some sort of documentation, but at level 1 you know only 2 spells, at level 2 you know 3 spells, and it increases from there, and then it starts to flatten out at level 10. Spell slots, literally the number of spells that you can cast before you need to take a rest. So at level 1 you only get 1 spell slot, and you get to choose from your 2 known spells what spell you're going to cast. And if you want to cast another spell, you can't. You have to go take a rest before you get that slot back, and you can cast spells. One of the issues I know a lot of dungeon masters have with warlocks is their constant need to rest. Then the slot level. As I was saying, when you cast a spell with a warlock, depending on your level, that column actually indicates the highest level spell you can cast. So if you are level 1 warlock, you can only cast a level 1 spell, and it's cast at level 1 at the lowest level possible. This does not relate to cantrips. Cantrips are unrelated to this column. If you are, say, level 6, then you can cast your spell at level 6 at a 3rd level. So you can know a 1st level spell, 2nd level spell, 3rd level spell, and all of those spells are cast at the highest level if they have an incremented level tied into the spell. So if the spell is something like Fireball or Magic Missile, usually you can increase the power of something like that as you increase in level as your Warlock. So I don't see any comments in there. I've got a couple of people in the chat obviously watching, or maybe they've just timed out or have gone off to do something else. I think we're going to finish up here. I think that's pretty much covered everything that we needed to. And yeah, I will catch up with everybody later on.